Jungkook takes a deep breath, deciding to open up to Yoongi about the recent events that have shaken him. Well, there's this man. Yeah, kinda. And we've been involved for a while. But just a couple weeks ago, one night things took a turn. He became too dominative, too physical. It was like I was losing control, and it scared me. So, I left in the morning, thinking it was time to put an end to this. Yoongi listens attentively, concern etched on his face. Jungkook, babe, if this guy is making you uncomfortable, you did the right thing by leaving. No one should mess with your head. Yeah, Jungkook nods, appreciating Yoongi's understanding. Yeah. Well, I thought it was over, but now, his wife is trying to pull me back in. She wants me to meet him on his birthday, claiming he's struggling without me. I don't know what games they are playing, but I want no part in it. Yoongi's expression darkens. This sounds like a toxic situation, mate. You shouldn't let them manipulate you. What do they want from you, anyway? Jungkook sighs, feeling the weight of the situation. I don't know, Yoongi. She's offering a significant sum for me to meet him on his birthday and talk to him. But I don't want anything to do with him or his wife. I don't want to get involved, but she promised that after that night, they'll leave me alone. I'm not sure what to do. It's just a mess. Yoongi frowns, sensing the complexity of the situation. Listen, it's your decision, but be careful. If you think there's even a hint of danger or manipulation, I don't want you to do it. We can find another way, figure something out together. Jungkook appreciates Yoongi's concern, but financial struggles weigh heavily on him. I could use the money, really. And if it means they'll leave me alone afterward, maybe it's worth considering. But I don't want to put myself in a situation where I feel trapped or threatened. Yoongi hesitates, concern etched on his face. I have to ask. I guess that might be a sensitive topic, but still, that first night, when you fell asleep, I saw the bite marks on your shoulder. Is that related to this man? When you say he was dominative, is that what you mean? Jungkook shifts uncomfortably, realizing that his attempt to keep details vague has left Yoongi curious and perhaps worried. Yeah, that was him. Things got a bit rough. I thought I could handle it, but it became too much. It's part of why I decided to end things. I didn't want to go down that path. Yoongi's expression tightens with a mix of worry and anger. Jungkook, if this man has hurt you, manipulated you, I won't stand by and let it happen again. We'll find a way out of this mess together, okay? Money doesn't worth it. It's 40,000, 40 yeah, must be one hell of a conversation you're selling there, mate. I must have seriously undervalued our late night chats. What's the going rate for yours? Then Jungkook shoots Yoongi a glare, appreciating the attempt at humor in an otherwise tense situation. Very funny, Yoongi. No, really. Add that to that little list of jokes in your phone. Yoongi chuckles, continuing his banter. Well, if you're getting 40 grand for a chat, I'd hate to think what they're willing to pay for a bit more than just talk. Jungkook shakes his head, unable to suppress a small smile. You've got a filthy mind, moron. I mean, 40 grand? Must offer some impressive forces to fetch that kind of price. I hope you're including a money-back guarantee. You're relentless, aren't you? If only I could charge that much for a good laugh. Yoongi winks. Who knows, mate? Maybe your comedic talents are undervalued. I'll be your agent. We'll negotiate better rates. Jungkook shakes his head in mock disbelief. You'd make a terrible agent, Yoongi. Stick to your day job, Yoongi grins, their banter providing a brief distraction from the seriousness of the situation. Just trying to lighten the mood, kook. But seriously, we'll figure this out, okay? No need to sell your soul or anything else. Yoongi subtly shifts the tone to offer genuine support. On a serious note, Jungkook, you don't have to go through this. I'm here for you, yeah? If this man has caused you pain, we'll find a way to put an end to it. Your well-being is more important than any amount of money. Jungkook appreciates Yoongi's sincerity and nods. Thanks, Taehyung. It means a lot. I just want this whole thing to be over. Yoongi puts a reassuring hand on Jungkook's shoulder. We'll make it through, mate. And your comedic talents will remain priceless. No negotiation needed. Jungkook chuckles, grateful for the friend who can bring both levity and comfort in challenging times. Alright, Yoongi, no more jokes about deal. Yoongi grins. Deal. Now let's focus on getting you out of this mess. Jungkook nods, exhaling loudly, and Yoongi hugs him. Look, I realize this is a sensitive subject, but what exactly did he do to you? You know, just to know what we're dealing with. Jungkook hesitates, his voice quiet as he recounts the distressing memories. He enjoyed control. The dominance went beyond what I expected. He left bite marks and bruises in places I'd rather not describe. It wasn't just he had this need for control, and it manifested in a way that made me feel a bit trapped, I think. Just a part of it. He wanted me to submit completely, physically and mentally. It was like he enjoyed the power imbalance, and the more I resisted, the more he pushed. It wasn't just physical, it was a mental game. I asked him to break me because he wanted me to. He wanted to make me completely submissive. Yoongi listens with a mix of shock and concern, his expression darkening. That's sick, Jungkook. No one should treat another person like that. Jungkook nods, the weight of the past evident in his eyes. I convinced myself for a while that it was just a kink, that I could handle it. But it went beyond that. I couldn't let it continue, not for my own sake. Yoongi's brow furrows with concern. Listen, I don't want to sound insensitive, but why didn't you stop him? If he was hurting you, why didn't you put a stop to it? Jungkook hesitates, grappling with the complexity of his emotions. It's complicated. In the moment, it was like I was caught in this whirlwind of conflicting feelings. I wanted him to stop, but part of me liked it. I was asking for more. Yoongi's expression softens, understanding the internal struggle. Jungkook, what you're describing sounds like a really messed up situation. Consent is important, and if you felt conflicted, it's not your fault. It's his for taking advantage of that confusion. Jungkook nods, grateful for Yoongi's understanding. I know, Yoongi. It's just hard to admit that I let it happen, that I allowed myself to get tangled in this mess. Yoongi, now more careful with his words, acknowledges the difficulty of the situation. Jungkook, I'm sorry if I pushed too hard, but I just want to understand, okay? Are you sure it was, or was it more of a consensual session? Jungkook, I really can't help but wonder. You describe it like you were a victim, but you've also said you liked it. Did you actively try to stop him during those moments? I mean, actually, that doesn't sound like the complete and you can't fully admit it because you don't want to accept that you enjoyed the things that were done to you, I guess. I don't fully understand it myself, to be honest. Maybe that's why it's so hard to talk about. Yoongi, seeing the evident struggle in the boy's eyes, shifts his approach with a more gentle tone. Jungkook, I can see this is incredibly difficult for you. But we need to have an open conversation about whether you're genuinely into these things or if it's something more. It's essential to discuss if, in any of those moments, you are able to stop it but chose not to because you found pleasure in it. Jungkook, wrestling with his own conflicting emotions, finally speaks, his voice carrying a heavy weight. It's not easy to explain. There were moments when I could have said no, but I didn't. It's a lie. I wanted it, even though I shouldn't have. It's messed up, and I don't know how to make sense of it. Okay, ugh. Yoongi, maintaining a supportive tone, continues the conversation. Did he ever set boundaries or ask for your consent? I mean, it's important to see the difference between an abusive behavior right now. You're not at fault for enjoying certain aspects, especially if it was within agreed upon limits. But if he crossed the line without your consent or communication, that's a different story. Jungkook, deep in thought, replies. He never really discussed boundaries. It was like he knew what he wanted and assumed I was on board. I never explicitly said no, but there were times when I felt overwhelmed, and he didn't stop. Like, I asked him to stop, but he said I could take it. And I just asked him to stop not because I didn't want this whole thing. I asked him to stop because I was like, feeling it too much. The feeling was so strong, so I just wanted to, and he wouldn't let me. And at those moments, I'd ask him to stop. Not really, stop, but to let. Yoongi, after listening to Jungkook's description, furrows his brow in thought. Jungkook, what you're describing seems more like a play rather than outright abuse where the person should stop immediately. However, you have to see the difference between consensual play and manipulation. Jungkook looks at Yoongi, a mix of confusion and relief on his face. So, it's not entirely. Yoongi shakes his head just like you said, yeah. What matters is whether you felt safe, respected, and had the ability to communicate your limits. Was there something else